And that's just, that example, like you said, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and
Right.
using minor chords. That's just it just shows you like the range of emotion that's
Right.
available to you, no matter what your starting point was.
Hmm.
Um, so do you think there are aside from like changing the chords, are other things that you can do to like change the emotion in an idea, or like just achieve an emotion that you're looking to achieve with a song? Because I think
Right.
that's something that, sometimes and this is probably like a point that you hit on when you're doing critiques and stuff. It's like you might see lyrics and they're happy, but then like the chords are all sad and it's like a slow tempo,
Right.
and you want everything, you want to be hitting the emotion that you're looking for. So
Right.
how can you do that when you're writing?
Yeah, I think I mean there are so many different options when you're creating, this I call it the soundscape, right? The soundscape of your song. And I think like when it comes to I use the word prosody a lot, right? It's the idea that the form and the content are matching. So the example I always use is Eminem. Is his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, right? So you get all of these tiny little rhymes that are happening boop 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 one after the next, and you get this really quick kind of rhyme scheme, and you're getting this really kind of dunk 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 staccato thing going on in the piano, and with all of that you get the anxiety, right? He's saying his palms are sweaty and his knees are weak. He's talking about being anxious or being nervous. So it makes sense that his lyrics would be rhyming more often. It makes sense that it would be quick. So I think you could say the same thing about any number of like sad, slow songs. I think Adele's most recent single is a great example. Easy on me. That when you're taking these like beautiful, sad, sweeping melodies, you're able to match those to what's happening in the music. And I think with a lot of people, prosody is the thing that is either lacking or the thing that they can play with more. So I think, Born in the USA is my go to example of songs where the prosody does not line up and it confuses people. Because it's a song about a war vet who comes home and feels like he has no place in America. But the Born in the USA, we're hearing it at political rallies.
Right.
So it can be kind of funny to notice when the lack of prosody causes the listener to misunderstand the lyrics. But at the same time, you can hear songs that do it really effectively, right? Where you get this like beautiful, sad sounding thing with happy lyrics. And then that allows you
Hmm.
to kind of understand a different perspective of the song. So, all of that to say, basically, I think that you can do a lot by adding or taking away prosody. So I think chords are one piece of it. I think, right, using a minor chord in a sad song is a great idea, sure. But I think there's so much more that you can play around with, um, just by, using different dynamics, using different rhythms, playing around with how quick or how far apart the rhymes are. There's just so much that you can play with.
Before we move on, I just wanted to let you know that the full version of this interview is in our membership site, which you can learn more about by tapping the little I on the upper right hand side of the screen. And I've also got a link for it below this video. Also, in that little I and below the video as well, I've got a couple of free songwriting cheat sheets for you, so you can grab those there as well. It's funny because you mentioned a song that you don't think where the prosody lines up, but the one I always thought of with that was that song "Bye Bye Love."
Yeah.
I think it's the Everly Brothers, but
Mhm.
maybe not.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just so funny because those lyrics are such a downer. Bye bye
Right.
love, bye bye happiness, hello loneliness. But it's the most upbeat, like major
Right.
chords. Yeah,
Bye bye happiness.
yeah. It's just so
Totally.
funny. Yeah,
Right.
it's a perfect example of that. Does the music does not match up to what the song is
Yes,
talking about? You know.
exactly. But at the same time, that can add a sense of comedy. I think that's a
Mm,
great way to make a song funny is to
yeah.
use that like kind of off sense of prosody. And it's also a great way to show I'm smiling on the outside and I'm
Right.
miserable on the inside and bye bye love. So you can use that lack of prosody to to basically just create the narrative that you want to create. Like if your character who you're writing about is, or writing from the perspective of, is feeling sad but would be pretending to be happy, that's a great opportunity to play with those major chords, see what happens.
That's a great, like, outside the box way of thinking of it. It's like you don't just have to be so one to
It
one
doesn't
with
have to
it.
be rigid.
Yeah. It's like you can even get creative with what you want the meaning to be, you know?
Right, exactly. And I think one of my favorite examples of this too is the Modest Mouse song "Float On,"
Mm.
which I think is really super fun for the same reason, right? I drove my car into a cop car the other day. Oh, but he just drove off. It's okay. Right? Oh, we lost our jobs on the same day. Oh no, like what are we gonna do? It'll be fine. We're gonna float on, right? So you get this like upbeat, we'll float on, all right, and then it ends at the very end of the song with this, we'll all float on, all right, don't worry, we'll all float on. So it's this kind of marching thing, and it feels very much like a slog, but it's also a little more upbeat, and it's fun, but you're also like, we're gonna get through this, we're marching in, we're going, and then the song doesn't resolve at the end. So you get this sense that like, this character is like trying so hard to be happy, and then at the very end you get this like, all right. So it's this sense of the lack of prosody really feels like it's adding to that feeling of insecurity, or the feeling that you're unsure of what's going to happen next.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, when you start to look at what some songs are doing in that sense, like you just gave a couple great examples, but when you just start to think about that as you're listening so that you can listen more analytically, then you could start to say, like, how do I want to apply these things to
Totally.
what I'm doing? You know, so is my whole playlist like, you know, like right on the nose as far as that stuff goes? Is the upbeat stuff just happy lyrics and then the sad stuff is sad? Or is there like something more going on sometimes where you can dig a little bit
Right.
deeper and go, oh, this is something that I can use myself, you know?
Yeah. I know for me personally though, I'm going to tell you, Spotify totally called me out this year. You know, the type of your song mood, and I got something like longing and melancholy, and I was like, ooh, little on the nose. Like I'm very happy in life generally. But yeah, apparently my listening mood is very melancholy and longing and sad. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's a lot of people. Like the sad songs are
sure,
so popular.
they're
It just,
so powerful.
right.
And you know, I listen to music to feel something. I mean, that's why I've always listened to music. That's always why I've made music, is to just be more in tune with who I am and what the world is and my feelings about things. So being able to listen to something that's going to make me cry even when I'm happy on a good day just shows that I can feel stuff, you know?
Hmm.
Like it gives me this sense of connection to the world. So that's why I cry to Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah. It's like I was working on a song where it's like, it was mostly kind of like melancholy. And then at the end, I put like kind of a positive twist on it. And
Yeah.
still, when I was writing it and I sent it to a friend, I was like, what do you think of this lyric wise? And then he was like, I don't know about like the happy ending, you know? He's
Right,
like,
sure.
sometimes, he's like, when I listen to Jason Mraz and everything's all happy all the time, like it just makes me want to throw up.
I know I really like Jason Mraz a lot in a lot
Yeah.
of ways. But yeah, no, I do agree with you though. Like sometimes there's a point at which it's a little saccharine or it's a little bit, you know, overly joyous.
Where should people go to, you know, learn more about you or check out your tips and all that kind of stuff?
You can check out my YouTube channel, April Keys, Keez, April like the month. And my my website is aprilkeys.com. And you can find any of my music on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, any of the places. And my record that I came out with is called Mountain View.
So I hope you found that information useful. If you'd like a lot more ways to improve your songwriting, I've got a couple of free cheat sheets for you that you can download by tapping on the screen here. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel to stay updated on our latest songwriting videos, you can tap our logo on the screen for that. And there's also a link on this screen where you can hear the song that I played for you in this video and the song that you're hearing right now. So thank you for checking this one out. I'll talk to you in the next one.